Well, hello, a very good evening to you. It's your last live hour here on Hochanda. Don't worry, because there's still plenty more repeat hours throughout the night for as long as you want to keep watching us. But this is your last live hour. A great hour, though, to watch because it is, of course, the launch of your new one-day special. If you are new to Hochanda, you will not know that every single night of the week at this time, which of course is 6 o'clock, we launch a brand new item that is a one-day special, which means that it's lower in price than it would be for 24 hours. Sometimes they can sell out within an hour. It's quite incredible, especially fabric launches. I've seen a lot of amazing fabric launches where things just literally disappear. And once it's gone on this show, it's gone. So the stock we have is the stock we have for the one-day special. Now, this is from Tula Pink. What a fabulous lady she is. She is absolutely amazing in terms of her character and in terms of her designs and also her colour, in terms of the kind of colour choices that she makes and how she puts it together. But I do know as well from one of the shows I did before that what she likes to do is bring you a design of fabric, and at first you look at it and you go, that's lovely, that's a nice colour, that's bold and bright and beautiful. But then as you look further, you will see hidden details in that fabric. She's all about putting extra special little details in the fabric to make it even more interesting. Now, she's actually an illustrator, a fabric designer, a quilter, an author. She is a maker and generally, apparently, a good person who enjoys talking about herself. Nothing wrong with that. She graduated from the Otis College of Art and Design in Los Angeles in California. It was fun, but she was a bit sick of being broke, so she decided to get a job. And then she worked briefly as an exhibit designer for museums in Southern California. She then went into the music industry. She left that. The plan was to move as far east as she could without renting a boat and work her way back west until she found a place she liked. And she got about halfway. She ran out of money, so she stayed put. She now lives in the small Midwestern town of Kansas City in a house that used to be a barn, still looks like one apparently. And her main function in life is fabric design. She lives for it. And her signature designs have been adapted to fabrics, woven ribbons, paper products, needlepoint kits, embroidery patterns and sewing machines that can all be found in independent fabric shops and retailers all over the world. But she is most recognised for her dark sense of humour and a flair for hiding animals in the strangest of places artistically in her fabrics. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, not literally. Today she works very closely with the good people at Free Spirit Fabrics to develop multiple fabric collections every single year. And she's also ambassadors as well to sewing machine companies, developers, collections, and all sorts of things. She writes media and books, and she's crazy about quilting and sewing. She is very, very busy, but she says she gets very cranky when she's asked to leave her studio. And yes, by the way, Tula Pink is her real name. Isn't that fabulous? I mean, she was always going to become something, being named Tula Pink, wasn't she? But what a great name. So let's have a look now at the kind of design she's created for us today. Now, you have three options on these one-day specials. So we've got morning, noon and night. And basically, these are the fabrics that you are looking at here. You can see they're all very different, but they're all absolutely bold and beautiful. You're getting 7 half-metre fabric pieces in this bundle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you can see how the colourways are matching. So although you've got this amazing, wonderful kind of green, you've got pinks in there, which of course match your bright pink there. And then you've got the pink and the green, but then this limey colour, which is replicated in this piece here. Then you've got this lovely cream with the pinks. You've got the oranges in. I mean, they're absolutely amazing, aren't they? So beautifully designed, and you can see the colours just pop. And when you get these home, I guarantee they'll be even brighter than you imagined, and then you can see on your TV. But they really are lovely. So in terms of you putting them together to do your quilting projects, I think these are going to make lovely quilters projects because the designs are so fun. So when you eventually look at that quilt, it will always make you smile, not just because of the bright colours, but the designs as well. And you've got the little scissors in there, so that's very crafty. With this one, once again, you can see this coloration running through. So we've got these baby blues, the darker blues. You've got the lime that's picked up on the main fabrics here and on the trees there. But I mean, just look at that. It's just fabulous. Yeah, it's really beautiful, isn't it? How she puts those flowers in there with a little love heart. I was just trying to find the hidden little animal, because I did find it in one of the fabrics before and I was like, oh, there it is. But yeah, lovely little safety pins there. You've got the scissors again, but they're just absolute. You just want to go like this. They're so glorious, these fabrics, and I love, love, love the colorways. And then if we go to this one, this is your nighttime, and I mean, look at this. How do you put colors like that match so perfectly? That lovely kind of soft, it's a green, like a forest green, and then with the purple, and I love these love hearts and the scissors. It's almost like an ode to quilting. It's about loving, crafting and doing what you're doing. But look at that one with this beautiful lavenders and purples and this touch of green. The safety pins again. I love this fabric look. You've got rotary blades on there. You've got your scissors. This is definitely a quilter's dream fabric, I think. And this one here with the bobbin. And then you've got the tape measures running through as well. So they are absolutely stunning fabrics, but obviously that is more sort of pink and lavender based. If you want to get hold of any of these, it is 529146, £25 today, your first of 2 flexible payments there from Tula Pink. Gorgeously designed, unique fabrics. In the lead is Noon, which is the one in the middle. And I'm not surprised because you've got these wonderful blues and greens here, which are gorgeous. So 529146, your item number, and Noon is the one that's the most popular. We do not have any more stock available. So that's it. When it's gone, it's gone. Let's move on to some fat quarters now. You will recognise in here fabrics from there, but also there are other fabrics as well that are not included in there. For example, these 3, yes, you will see are not in your one-day special. And these are almost like sort of someone's just dropped hundreds and thousands. Probably other little brands are available of those things. But you can see how they really do pop. I love those. They almost look lifelike, don't they? But you've got those in there which you do not have before. Yeah, these are fat quarters. So of course you can make all sorts of things with these. You can quilt with these, but you could use these to make little bags like wash bags. You could make little handbags. You could make little storage cases with zips, like our Hayley created her own pattern, didn't she? You could use these to make those little bags with the zips. So all sorts of projects from these fat quarters. You've actually got a lot of fabric. If I just open one up for you, you will see just how much fabric you have got here when you imagine all of those strips. So 25 fat quarters. Now it's £45 today, £45 in a month. That is your flexi pay option there. But once again, the colours, they're all chosen for you. If you were to go into a shop and try and get these colours for yourself, I think you would really struggle putting them together. But she knows her colours and she knows her designs. And in a way, I do think, I could be wrong, but I think that these fabrics are offering you neutrality almost. Compared to the other big patterns, I think these are kind of something to give you a kind of a calmness within the designs if you are putting all the fabrics together. Do you know what I mean? Because you haven't got a big bold pattern on there. So I think this is picking up the colours from the fabrics, but I think it might be giving you a little bit of a sort of calm theme running through your project. That's what I think. I might be totally wrong. It's up to you however you want to use them. 800 801 is your item number, £89.99 instead of nearly £130. It's a very good saving, very big saving. £45 today, your first of 2 flexible payments. Let's move on to Rebecca Reid, and these are patterns, and she's actually designed these for you by herself, and I've actually done a show with her. She's a very, very talented lady. And so what she's given you here are options. Oh no, you get all 4 for £20. Amazing. So £19.99, you are getting yourself a shadow box quilt pattern. You are getting yourself the spool and button cushion. You are getting the sewing machine cover, and you're getting the overnight bag. Now, I think that's great to get those 4 patterns, because let's face it, if you are a sewer, if you are a quilter, how wonderful to make a cover for your sewing machine. How fabulous to make a cushion. How fabulous to make a quilt and then a bag to put all of your sewing bits in. So I think this is genius. Let me just hold you up the samples because they're all so beautifully made. This is your shadow box quilt. And look at that, you can see, isn't that, look at those fabrics. This is what we're talking about with using Tula fabrics. It's so modern, it's so funky, it's so contemporary. I've got to show you the back as well of this because that's also equally beautiful, but the brightness is amazing. If I show you this, the back of the quilt, just as good. Look at that. Yeah, fabulous, isn't it? Fabulous. So if you would like to make that, the great thing about this quilt, looking at it, is I don't think it would be too difficult as a quilting project because it's squares. Isn't that clever with the shadow as well underneath? It is what it is. It's a shadow box quilt, but I don't think that would be too difficult at all because you're just cutting out squares. So that's one of them. You get the pattern for that, and of course you've got lots of fabrics to buy on the show to be able to make these things. And then we have got your cushion. This is your spool and button cushion. So you can see there, look, the spool and buttons clearly. And isn't that fun with the stripes running across? I think that's really clever. And then on the back, you've got that lovely fabric, which is from our one-day special. So that's a lovely cushion that you could be making. You get the pattern for that. Perfect. Then you've got your sewing machine cover. I know. Look. Amazing. I mean, that's just so nice. If you're going to have your sewing machine on display in your house, how wonderful to be able to cover it like that. We must say thank you to Rebecca because she sent all these in and they are just beautiful, beautiful examples. So that is your sewing machine cover. And then finally, the little bag. It's a little overnight bag, look, to put your goodies in there, or you could put your sewing things in there as well. So if you're going to workshops, how great to take your own quilted bag. Lovely. So that is 518304 to get all of those patterns and to be able to make these gorgeous, gorgeous projects for yourself. Brilliant. Okay, that's that. Now, I did this show with this. Sadly, on that show, we didn't actually have an example of the quilt. We only had a sort of mock-up of it, and it was quite pale, the mock-up. When you look at these fabrics close up, I mean, can you believe it? Look at how bright they are. What fun is that? And then if I show you your quilt pattern here, you've got it here. So this is what you could be making, this amazing sunrise quilt kit. So there you are. Those are all the pieces for you. But it really is the quality of the fabrics and the colours are incredible. You've got all of your templates here, by the way, so that you can make it. And if I just show you this here, that's what you're actually making in the end. So yeah, I mean, that is a project and a half, isn't it? But when you imagine all the fabrics in front of me in their bright, bold colours, and then you see that, you can imagine how that quilt is going to look. I mean, look, yeah, they're just gorgeous. Every time you pick one up, there's a monkey. Is he a crafty monkey? See what I did there? Yeah, that's my company. Anyway, bit of a blatant plug there. We do quilting. Look at these. Look. Oh, I know, it's gorgeous. So you've got all of your fabrics there to make this wonderful, wonderful quilted project. It is £158.99 instead of nearly £250. That's a big saving. And you have everything there that you need. 402 323 is your item number if you would like to get hold of that. We've got something else for you on the show that's not here live, but we've got a picture of it, and it is your assorted fat quarter bundle, and you can see there all the beautiful colours again and patterns working together. That one is 718780. It is £69.99 instead of nearly £100, but once again, great quality and colours. £35 today, your first of 2 interest-free flexible payments. You can shop online right now, hochanda.com, or pick up the phone and give us a call. This is a happy hour. That means that these fabrics will go up at the end of the hour in price. So instead of £15, you are paying £9.99. And you can see, already busy for these, just a lovely little 5-piece fat quarter bundle in these gorgeous batik colours. 10% of this happy hour deal is gone already. It is going to go back up at the end of the hour to £15 instead of £9.99. So seriously have a think about that little happy hour deal that we've got for you on this show. Now, something else that we have on the show, luckily, is lots and lots of videos for you, because we know you want to see these fabrics in action. We know you want to see what you can do with them and how they can come to life. Rebecca Reid herself has made these wonderful videos for us. Let's have a look at what she does with her first project.
So today I'm going to show you how to make a shadow box. There are 25 of them in this quilt, and I'll show you just how to make one, and then you just copy it to do all 25. So you need a print square first of all. In the fat quarter pack there are 25 different fabrics, so it's best to cut a different fabric for each, but you don't have to. If you want to just use a small selection, that's fine. So you need to cut one of these. All the measurements are in the instructions, so you don't need to remember those. And then you need a strip that goes across the bottom and a strip that goes on the side. And then you need a little square here and a little square here. Now it's hard to see at the moment how that's going to form a shadow box, but it will. So the first thing you have to do, we'll just take these apart, is we need to sew the background square to here, and we need to sew the background square to here. So first of all, pin one of the background squares to the side shadow strip. All of this is sewn together using a 5mm seam allowance, which is 1/4 inch. Make sure you reverse a bit to hold the seam, and just sew it together all the way along, and reverse again at the other end. Cut it off, and then take the other background square and the bottom shadow strip, pin them together and sew them in the same way, making sure you keep the 5mm seam allowance so that it all fits together properly at the end. Now you've got them sewn together, all you have to do next is press the seams open so that they're lying nice and flat, just like that. And just like this. So now we've sewn them together, and look, I've pressed the seams open. So we start off with the side shadow strip, and you place this right sides together with your print square. The corner square needs to go on the top. So I'll just put that one to one side. Pin this together. It's always best to put the piece on top that has the seam, only because it's easier to keep the seam lying flat once you're sewing if you've got it on top. So now I've pinned it together, we're now going to sew this seam into place all the way down. Again, don't forget you need to use your 5mm seam allowance. When you get to the seams, make sure they're still lying flat as you go over them, because then you'll have a much neater quilt at the end, because you won't have twisted seams on the back which make it quite bulky. So now you've sewn this one on, the next thing you need to do is press this flat, which you should do with an iron, but I'll just do it with my fingers for now. We can press it afterwards. So now we're going to put the bottom strip on. Remember that the background corner square needs to go on this side so that you've got the two shadows together, the two grey pieces. So let's pin that together. Now you've got a seam on the shadow strip, but you've also got a seam on the print strip, so you just have to choose which one you put on the top. Pull them so that they fit nicely, because where the seams are, it sometimes makes the fabric a bit shorter, but if you just pull it, it will fit. So now we're going to sew this one on. Again, 5mm seam allowance for everything so that it fits nicely. When you get to where the seam is, just run your finger underneath to make sure it's still lying flat, just for a neater finish. When you get to your seam, if you find that part of it comes up, just hold it down with a pin as you're sewing, and that will keep it lying flat. So now you can see we finished one shadow block. So the best thing to do now is press the seams open and flat from the wrong side. I'll just do that with my fingers now, but when you're doing yours at home, use an iron so it's really nice and flat, like this. Then you make all of your 25 squares in exactly the same way, and then you can join them together. So now we've finished one and I've pressed the shadow box, and look, I've made another one here because I just wanted to show you what happens when you lay them together. So you put them all into a row, and then you have to just sew one of these vertical sashing strips between each one. In the instructions it tells you where you put them, because they go on the left of 4 of them but not on the 5th, but it will make sense when you see the instructions. So all you do is you pin this one right sides together with here. I'll show you. All the way down, again using your 5mm seam allowance. Pin it together and sew it, but I'll just show you here. And then that gets pressed open, and then that gets joined to this one. So you join them all together in rows in this way until you've got the 5 rows, and then when you finish joining them all together in rows, you can join the rows together with the horizontal sashing strips. Now when you've made all 25, lay them all out onto a table. I laid mine out onto a big table just to see how the colours work together. It's up to you. I did mine really random. If you look at the front cover of the instructions, you'll see that they're all random, but you could space them together in colour groups. You could put all the pinks together, all the blues together, all the greens, but it's just a really good way of showcasing prints that you like. And with this Tula Homemade Collection, the prints are so lovely. They feature really nice notions fabric. That's a really nice way to show them. Once you've joined them all together, follow the instructions, and then you can make it up into a quilt. But in the fat quarter pack, there's enough fabric to make a much bigger quilt, because you only need a small square of each one. So you could make a much bigger quilt, or some cushions to go with it. But basically that's how you do the shadow box block.
Brilliant, thank you very much, Rebecca. And if you want to get hold of the pattern, that's what it looks like. But you get all 4, remember, so you get your shadow box quilt, you get your spool and button cushion, you get your sewing machine cover, and you also get your overnight bag as well. So all 4 of those for £19.99. That's 518304. Don't forget our happy hour deal as well. That's selling very well indeed. 30% of this has gone. This is only going to be at this price until the end of the hour, which is about 40 minutes away. So 514945, sorry, 514945. It's £9.99 instead of £14.99. You get this wonderful batik flavours here, and you get 5 fat quarters in there for you to play with. So that's a great deal for £9.99. 514945 is your item number. The one-day special, of course, selling very well indeed. The middle option is Noon, and Noon is now approaching 20% of the stock. Look at these glorious colours and fabrics. They are absolutely amazing, and that's how much you're getting in each one of those 7 half-metre bundles. They are so beautifully colour coordinated, so you'll find that this blue is in one of the other blue ones, and then you'll find some lime in the blue that's in another lime piece, etc. But the main theme of these is definitely the limes and blues. You've got little pins in there, you've got scissors, you've got your lovely flowers, and you've got your tape measures as well. I think that is my favourite. I'd actually like a skirt or something in that. Isn't that glorious? So these are your fabrics to play with today. 2 flexible payments, £25 today, £25 in a month. The usual price on these should be £62.99. They are down to £49.99 today. 529146, morning, noon or night. Noon is in the lead at the moment. We've only just launched it. One-day special. All the prices go back up tomorrow at the end of the 5 o'clock hour. Shall we see what Rebecca is up to now? Here we go.
So I'm going to show you how to make the spool and button cushion. In this cushion there are 2 blocks, a spool block and a button block, and you have to make 2 of each. So I'm going to show you how to make, first of all, the spool block. So in the instructions it tells you how to cut out all the fabric and what you need. So from the background fabric you need spool end corners, you need spool body sides, you need edge strips, you need spool ends, which are this grey colour. This fabric won't be in your pack, but only just the pattern fabric. So you can use a grey or a brown, and an ivory or a white works really well for the background. And then for the thread spool itself, you need 4 strips of coloured fabric. of the print fabric from the collection. You can mix and match those, you can have them similar colours, but just make sure that you arrange them so they stand out quite nicely. So that probably looks a bit better like that. And that's what you need to start off with. In the instructions it tells you how to make one block, so just do it twice. You can cut out 2 lots so that you've got the 2 blocks ready. So first of all I'm going to show you how to make the spool ends. There's 2 of them, one at the top of the spool and one at the bottom. So first of all you take 2 of the spool end corners and draw a line across them. You only need a little ruler, just diagonally from one side to the other. I'm using a heat erasable pen for this, but you'll be sewing along it, so it doesn't really matter. A pencil or a pen will do. Just make sure you draw a diagonal line from one corner to the other on both pieces. Then you have to pin them to the top left and to the top right, because basically this is cutting off the corners so that you have a nice angled spool. Just pin them into place like this, and then sew them together along this diagonal line. So now you can see I've sewn them together along this line, so you don't need the bit outside the edge, so cut that off. I've left about a 5mm seam allowance. You don't need too much, because the less bulk you have in the seams the better. You don't need those pieces. So now just press the corners open and then turn them over, and I would press them open and then you can press them to one side. Do this with an iron. I'm just doing it with my fingers to show you it's easier. Then you have the top spool block, and then this is one that I've made earlier, and that's the bottom. So as you can see, oh, let me just turn them, I've turned them around. So that is the top and that's the bottom, and then the spool will go in between the two. So now we're going to make the spool body. So remember, we cut out the 4 coloured strips in advance. You can decide what order you put them in. So what you have to do is you sew these 4 together. Do them one at a time, place them right sides together, make sure you match the edges up, because the seam allowance is so small at 5mm, just to reduce bulk in the seams. Then it's really important that it's accurate. So sew pin first, and then sew the top strip to the next strip, then press the seam open, and do that all the way along. When you've done that and you've sewn them all together with all the seams pressed open, you then take the side strips, which are in the background fabric, and you sew these down the side of them, again right sides together across all 4 seams. When you've done that, I'll just move these to one side. Here's one I did earlier. You end up with this. So as you can see, I've got all the seams there pressed open, and then put this. When you sew the side strips, make sure they're on the bottom so that these seams are on the top, because it's much easier to get the seams to lay flat if you've got the seam allowances on the top. So that is now the centre of the spool, and earlier we made the spool top and we made the spool bottom. So the next thing you need to do is sew the spool top to the spool body, the spool bottom, again right sides together, and sew it. When you've done all of that, you take your side edge strips, and these are sewn either side of them, and then that will make your finished spool block. Now we're going to make a button block. Again, for this cushion you need to make 2. They're made in exactly the same way, but using a different print for each one. But each button uses the same fabric throughout, not like the thread spool where you're using 4 prints. So just choose whichever print you like the most. It's up to you, whichever one you want to showcase. It probably works better to use one of the fabrics that's multi-directional, because you'll be cutting pieces that are all facing different ways. If you use a large print, it will look messier. So it's better to use a smaller print or one that's multi-directional. So you need to first of all cut out from your background fabric. You need corner squares. You need top and bottom edge strips, you need side strips. Then for the top of the button and the bottom of the button you need a rectangle, and then for the button holes that are in the centre you need these little vertical strips and a horizontal one, and you'll see why in a minute, I'll show you. And then you need 4 buttonholes. Now I've cut these in a grey fabric. because they're just supposed to be holes, but you can use a darker grey or a brown. It's up to you, but just choose a colour that you think will go well. I just chose this mid-grey because it fits well with the fabric. So now we're going to make the buttonhole top and the button top and the button bottom, and they're made in exactly the same way. Take 2 of your corner squares and place them right sides together on top of the, let's start with the button top, just like that. Now you need to, again, just like what you did with your thread spool, you need to draw a diagonal line from the top left corner to the bottom right, and then on this other one you need to draw a diagonal line from the top right to the bottom left. In the instructions there are photos of this and everything that will explain how you do this, so don't worry, you don't need to remember how to do it, I'm just showing you. And then pin it into place. Again, I'm using a heat erasable pen, but you can just use a pencil because you'll be sewing along this line, it won't be showing. But you don't want to use anything too dark just in case it shows through, but a pencil or an erasable pen is fine. Pin it into place along these lines, and then you sew along the lines. So now I've sewn along the lines, again in the same way as you did with the thread spool block, just cut outside the line on both of them, because you don't need those pieces. This is a much easier way of getting an angled corner than if you're trying to sew triangles. It's much more accurate, and I've done all the measurements for you so that they work. So do this with an iron, press them from the wrong side, press the seams open. If you want to press them to one side afterwards, that's up to you, but you either press them open or to one side. So now that's the top of the button, and then here's one I did before, and that's the bottom. But you see they go either way, so you just do them both in exactly the same way, then you've got the 2 button top and bottom. So now what we need to do is the piece that goes across the centre. So we are going to make the buttonholes first. So take your little buttonhole squares, and then we'll start with the vertical pieces. So you sew, put them right sides together. These are quite small, it's a little bit fiddly, but as long as you take it nice and slowly, it's easy. All the measurements are in the instructions, so you can see exactly where to cut them and how to cut them. Probably easier if you use a rotary cutter and a ruler for accuracy, but if you haven't got one, then just measure with a ruler, draw the lines on the back and cut them. So you need to sew that right sides together with that, that right sides together with that. Then you sew, once you've done that one, sew the other buttonhole to the other side and do the same with the other one. When you've sewn them and pressed them open, then you have a buttonhole with a small strip in the middle, and the other one underneath is exactly the same. When they're all joined together, you take your horizontal buttonhole strip and you sew the buttonholes to the top and the bottom. So this is one I've done before, so you can see exactly what it looks like. So you can see you've got your 2 buttonholes at the top, 2 at the bottom, with your strips there and your strip across the centre, and then that's the buttonhole piece finished. So now we're going to assemble the button because we've made all the pieces. So you put the button top down, then the buttonhole squares here, then these are the sides of the button centre, and then the button bottom then. So first of all, join the sides to the centre, again right sides together. Then when you've done that, you can join the top to the centre, then the bottom to the centre. And then you just have these little strips that go around the edge, and this is just to make sure that the block is exactly the same size as the thread spool block. And it also, by putting some background fabric around it, it helps to separate it when you're making up the whole cushion. So you sew the top and bottom strip on, and then these strips. They look like they're not long enough, but once this is all joined together, they're exactly the right length. And then that there will be your finished button block.
Fabulous! Thank you very much, Rebecca, for those wonderful demonstrations. The good news is we've got a really long demonstration which we're going to save until tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. So if you do want to come back and watch another demonstration from our Rebecca, tune in tomorrow at 8 o'clock. But let's focus on our one-day special now, because the thing is, Tula herself, that is her real name, Tula Pink, an amazing American designer. She comes up with these wonderful colourways. Now, if you were to try and put colourways together and went to a fabric shop, I think you could make a very very costly mistake. I think it's quite difficult to put colours like this together and patterns as well. It might look easy, but I don't think it is. So I think we need to have a look at these in more detail because they are so beautiful. For a start, can we just point out how much fabric you are getting? So it's a ½ metre and you're getting 7 of those. So that is a lot of fabric for you to get home and to play with. And you could make whatever you want to make out of these. I think that you could make a couple of quilts because you could do some little baby quilts if you wanted. You could do some wash bags, you could do some patchwork bags or placemats or whatever it is that you want to do with these pieces of fabric because they are substantially sized. But you can see there that lovely, lovely detail in there. And you've got this sort of burnt orange running through it, which is then picked up by the other designs of the fabric, which we'll see in a second. But you've got little pins in there and heart shapes and scissors, all sorts of lovely little designs. And that's what Tula does when she designs the fabric. She sort of hides away things so you look further into the design. So it makes your quilted items and your bits and pieces that you're making even more interesting. So if we look at the orange, she's then picked up that burnt orange in this piece of fabric, so you can see how the two are combining together. And what she's got here, lovely little hands with the hearts. We've got the pins there. We've got some little tweezers there that person is holding. Let's open this one up so we can have a look at what this looks like in real life, as it were, as well. So, hang on. Where is it? There it is. So there you are. Lovely. So, I mean, you could just make something out of that. I think you could make a lovely little bag out of that, which would be really interesting. A pin cushion would be really cute. You could make something out of it that carries all of your sewing goodies if you are going to workshops and things like that. So that is that piece. Fold these pieces up. Okay. Now we get into the greens. And you can see, if I just hold that one against it, we're now picking up the pinks in the pink of the green fabric, and that's why the two are working together, because they are all coordinating in terms of elements. But this is absolutely stunning. I mean, look at this colour, this lovely kind of soft teal green, but that is absolutely beautiful, isn't it? And that gorgeous illustration there running through those ferns, really kind of bringing everything together there, and the little love hearts, which of course are running through onto the other fabrics as well. And that is a sewing machine pedal, and it is actually, can you see, a sewing machine. How clever is that? Because at first you don't see it, and then when you look into it, you realise that it is a sewing machine. Very cool. She is very clever. Okay, that's that one. So now, obviously, the green and the pinks together in this piece. So we go on to this one, and this is now your little safety pin fabric. So open up this one for you. Now, once again, if you want something which is a little bit more subtle and you want to make something out of something which is subtle, then you could use this. Do you know what's really clever? I think she's almost using those safety pins like berries. You see what I'm saying? It's like a bush with berries on, isn't it? But instead, it is safety pins. Clever. So that could be a nice, subtle little pattern for you. And then we go into our next one. Of course, we've got the greens, but I love this because you've got rotary cutters, you've got scissors on there, you've got your tweezers. It's really cool. I mean, once again, in terms of making a bag out of that, I could see that working. That's really very, very pretty indeed, isn't it? And that's picking up your colours. And then we go into our pinks. So now look at these two together. My wedding actually had this bright pink theme running through it for the evening do. I absolutely love it. It's one of my favourite colours. And on here, once again, you can now see your scissors, you can see your sewing bobbins, but all sorts of things running through that design. And then you've got your other design with the tape measures running through, and the two pieces are working together. Let's have a look at this tape measure one in full detail, because once again, do you know what I like about Tula as well? I think she's got a sense of humour. And I think her sense of humour runs through her designs. There we are. But it looks really bright, but I just think, once again, it's so beautiful. That reminds me almost of, you know, when you get family crests and things like that, there's got something, a touch of that about it. But I love the fact that tape measure is intertwined with those other bits and pieces there. Fabulous. So that one is your morning option. That is just one option because of course you have got your three, sorry it's not very pretty now, you've got your noon option. Now this has been the most popular. I think it's because it's got the blues. So if we just show you again, once again, look at that beautiful blue, you know, and these are 100% cottons as well, and really fabulous to feel and to touch. So whatever projects you are making, they're going to feel nice as well as looking great. But then you see you've got these amazing greens, but that's because you've got the green picked up in this one. And then once again, that fantastic sewing machine. I think at first when you look at this fabric, you could think it was a bird somehow. I see birds in there almost. I don't know what it is about it, but I do. And then actually when you look at it, you can see it's upside down. But it is a sewing machine. I should put it the right way. But it is a sewing machine and the foot pedal. But isn't that a beautiful blue? Such a perfect colour. Yeah, it's like a peacock feather or something. That's what I'm saying. I just kind of saw something else in there. And then if we just have a look at our fabrics here, so we've got the scissors again. There we are. Scissors and tweezers, and you've got pins in there. Do you know what else I like as well is how those items have been kind of drawn onto the fabric, because they do look like they've been sort of hand painted on there, don't they? I'm not sure if they have, but there is a kind of a feel of that in the fabric, and that once again makes that fabric quite unique and quite different. So that is that. And then we've got the safety pins again. So once again, this is almost like a little ditzy print, I think. And so if you do want to have something which is a bit calmer, I think that is a great piece of fabric there. I mean, I wouldn't mind something, a dress wear made out of that, but that's not enough fabric, obviously, to make something out of there, unless it's a doll's clothes. 529146, your item if you want to get hold of your one day special. Remember, these fabrics, when they've gone, they've gone. There is no more of them. So you do need to get in quickly, and the noon is very, very busy. The saving is fantastic, £25 a day, your first of 2 interest-free flexible payments. And you are saving there £13, should be £62.99, down to £49.99, but only until tomorrow. I've just realised she's put eyes in there. It is, you know what? Yes, it is. Right, so she talks about that she always likes to put little animals hidden throughout her fabrics for you to find. That is almost like an ostrich, but it's certainly, look, can you see? Yeah, see the eyes? Yes. So it is like an ostrich, isn't it? Yeah. Or an elephant. Oh, so you see, but it's what you see in it, isn't it? It's what you see in there, but that is definitely a hidden animal because you've got those little eyes in there. That is really clever, very unique. You see, this is very different. You see, I stopped and noticed it because I hadn't seen it before. So I'm so sorry, Chloe. We're going to reset all these. Right, that's your noon then. And then you've got your night. Now, once again, we've got exactly the same patterns, but I will pick out a couple of them for you because I want to show you these glorious colours again. These wonderful pinks, as you can see there. Look at that. And I love how those rotary blades as well have got that touch of burnt orange in them, which of course is running through the other fabrics. But so pretty, so pretty. That's that one. Let's have a look at this one with this splash of green. We really like this one, don't we? There we are. Beautiful. And that's with the tape measures. And the request from our studio, our gallery, is to have a look at the one with the sewing machines on. And once again, so pretty. So pretty. Let's see if we can see anything hidden in here. It's fun, isn't it? But you can do this when you get this home. Yep, that's the right way, isn't it? Look at that, going straight in. Yeah, look. So you can see your lovely... And that, look, can you see the plug? So it looks like, yes, it looks like a flower or a plant or something. There's a plug. Yeah, there. That's so clever. I love her. She's really, really clever. Perfect. Okay, so that is your one day special. 3 options. Monday specials, because you've got your morning, noon and you've got your night. £25 today, £25 in a month's time. A great saving, £13. 529146. Tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, more demonstrations that you haven't seen, so do watch that show. But have a think about these fabrics because they are absolutely stunning. Now, the fat quarters are next. You will notice that these are they, but you do have some additions as well. And I called these the hundreds and thousands additions. I think myself that the reason that she's put these in, and I could be wrong, is that these are there to sort of give your projects a calming effect if you wanted, because I think that the colours run through the other colours that we've got on here, and the little flecks of colour pick up the other colours, but it's a kind of uniformed pattern. You know, it's a calm pattern. It's nothing too bold and brash in there. So I think this is there as a kind of balancer on your projects. I could be totally and utterly wrong. Let's have a look at, this is how I'd use it anyway. I would definitely use it kind of, you know, in between as strips of fabric or something in between the other fabrics and the quilted shapes that I was making. But isn't that lovely, that sort of midnight blue with those lovely flecks of colour running across. Absolutely stunning. So you get here 25 pieces in your fat quarter bundle, which I think is exceptional value. You've just seen all the fabrics that we have in our one day special. This is £45 today and £45 in a month's time. Now I want to draw your attention to the saving. It should be £130 down to £89.99. That is fantastic. A £40 saving. It's a very good saving on top quality, beautifully designed American fabrics. 800 801 is your item number if you would like to get hold of that fat quarter bundle. Perfect. Now, these patterns have been very popular. Rebecca Reid has been amazing in the samples that she has sent us, but also the patterns as well. So for your £19.99, under £20, you get your 4 fabulous patterns. They are the shadow box quilt, your spool and button cushion, which I think is a great sense of humour to it, your sewing machine cover and your overnight bag. Now, if you are into your stitching and quilting, I think you've got everything you could want here. A bag, something to protect your machine, a cushion for the home and a quilt. I mean, she's thought about what quilters want and she's given you the patterns. Let's have a look as well how the patterns actually work. So on the front page you have got your quilt, as you can see, and as you open it up there you have got full detailed instructions with your photographs, which make it very easy for you to be able to follow and to create. So those are your patterns, and then I'll show you what she's actually made with them. So this is your box quilt, which you saw her making on the video there. It's really clever with the shadow. Look at that. So that is just so contemporary and so modern and so fresh and really fabulous. And actually, probably one of the easier quilts to do because it's just squares. So your squares are just laying on top of each other. So you've got no complicated shapes to cut out. Those squares are quite large. They cover up a lot of area. So in terms of doing your quilting, you know, it's not a lot of stitching to do because you haven't got lots of little intricate pieces there. And then if I just show you the back, because the back is as beautiful as the front, there's your back look. So, I mean, that is absolutely stunning, isn't it? What a wonderful quilt Rebecca has made for us. Absolutely beautiful. So that is the quilt. Then she made that fabulous cushion, which, as I say, is a great sense of humour because you've got your button in there and you've got your spool. And I love how the spool is made out of the strips as well. So clever. And then this wonderful fabric running through the front. And then you've got your backing, which of course is in your morning one day special. And it's also in the fat quarters as well. So that's your cushion. And then she's done the sewing machine cover. I mean, this, if you've got a sewing machine, how fabulous. If you're going to have your sewing machine on display, why not put it in a wonderful cover? And that is just beautiful with those blues. So that's that. And then she has given you the overnight bag as well. Fabulous. So that's it. You can make those 4 projects, 518304. You just get the patterns and you get those for under £20 today, £19.99. The Sunrise Quilt Kit is here to have a look at, and if you have a look at this, this shows you the quilt that you will be making. And in terms of setting yourself a project, oh my goodness me, what a brilliant project to make. Look at it. It's so detailed and intricate, but it's so colourful and vibrant. And I think that would be incredible And then if you look at the fabrics in front of me and imagine seeing that quilt in these, I mean, look at how vibrant these are. Can you imagine that quilt would be such a talking piece, such a talking piece. And I even love it that you've got a monkey. Look at that. So, I mean, they're just wonderful, wonderful fabrics. Little ladybirds in here. And then, of course, monkeys get hungry in the jungle. They need a banana. So she's given you bananas as well. So, I mean, that would be an absolutely awesome quilt to make, wouldn't it, out of those fabrics? Absolutely incredible. So seriously have a think about that, especially when you see the saving. £90 as a saving. That's massive. It should be £250 near enough. £158.99. 402323 is your item number if you want to be able to get hold of that pattern and the fabrics. And you get, just to say, all the templates are all cut out for you in there. Whoops. And you will get that bit of pattern that I threw on the floor. You get your templates in there as well, so you can get started straight away. What a fantastic project to have. Now, a little happy hour special. Only 9 minutes left on this now. I'm going to open this up. 4 minutes on the show, but 9 minutes left for you to buy. This is what you are getting. We're talking about fat quarters. We know how big a fat quarter is, but I'll show you the fabric because it's a beauty. Now, this should be it should be nearly £15. It is £9.99. Now, can you see, look, it's a bit of an optical illusion, this, because it looks like there's a shimmer to that fabric, doesn't it? There's not. It's just the sort of tie-dye effect. It's the printing effect. But you are getting it in this glorious pink. You then get it in this wonderful purple that goes with it. As I say, £15 down to £9.99 just for a few minutes longer, and then that price will go. Lovely, look at that. Ready burnt orange. I would love something made out of that colour. You've got this blue. Anybody else want to swim in the Maldives at the moment? Yeah, there you go. That's the water. Absolutely lovely. Never been, but I'd like to go. And there is your beautiful burnt orange as well. So just gorgeous fabric, under a tenner. Brilliant, brilliant value, but finishing in a few minutes' time. So 514945 is your item number, and that is under £10. Lovely. And then this one we don't have live, but this has been very popular. Now, this is your 20 assorted fat quarter bundle. Once again, look at those colours. Look at the patterns. Can I just draw your attention to the one with the circles on? Look, that yellow, that green background with almost like half rainbows there, but circles. Oh my goodness me, love that. Love the one above it with the blue flowers and the green little dots with the purple and the little pink stars in there. And then got my kind of like waves in orange as well. That is a wonderful selection of fabrics. Now, you found those, even though we haven't had them live. You are saving nearly £30 on those. £35 today, £35 in a month's time if you'd like to get hold of those. 718780 is your item number. That is a fantastic collection there of fabric. As is our one-day special. We launched it an hour ago. It has gone incredibly well. The one in the lead at the moment is definitely the Noon. You are loving these blues. They are gorgeous. As soon as you get them home, you will not have appreciated just how bright and bold they are. And I think if you're working on a project, whatever it is that you're making, you really need colour. You need something to lift your, particularly at the moment, to lift your spirits and make you smile. But also when you've finished your projects as well, can you imagine having a lovely wash bag made out of these to take with you, or a little bag that you put your bits and pieces in, or that quilt, or the baby quilt, or whatever it is that you make out of these. They are so opulent and beautifully designed, and those little fun elements as well, like those hands. I just think they make you smile when you look at these fabrics in the colour and the design. And as I say, they feel glorious as well with this 100% cotton. So you can choose from your morning, which is definitely your pinks and limes and greens, your noon, which is definitely the blues and limes, or we're going to the evening with those wonderful lavenders and that pop of green as well. 529146, $49.99, but only only until tomorrow at 6 o'clock, because that's when the one-day special will end. It's on FlexiPay as well. £25 today, £25 in a month's time, which is fantastic. So shop for that on the website, hochanda.com. When you go there, don't forget the happy hour deal. You've got a few minutes left to get those fat quarters in those wonderful, brightly coloured batik fabrics. There are the details on the screen, 514945. It's one of those bundles of fabric that you just need to have under a tenner. Put it on your shelf. You will use it at some point. I'm going to go now. There's plenty more to see though on Hochanda throughout the night. Have a wonderful few days, and I'll see you back here on Friday. Thanks for watching. Take care.